Hello again and welcome to the season premiere of Charge Fastbreak right here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. I'm Scott Zarilla. Glad you are with us as we are all set to bring you the 2025-2026 NBA G League season. We are also going to celebrate 15 seasons of Charge basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you'll be with us all season long. Now, coming up on today's show, we've got a new head coach with the Charge, Eli Abrams. We'll bring you that interview where he sat down and went one-on-one with Charge General Manager LaRon Fannin. We're also going to tell you all the ways that you can watch and listen to Charge basketball all season long. And we're going to take you behind the scenes at today's Media Day. But before all that, of course, we need to introduce you to this year's roster and also take a sneak peek at the upcoming schedule. The Charge have 3 players returning from last season's 23 and 27 team. Point guard Darius Brown II, jumping jack forward Warith Alatishe, and reserve guard Sean McNeil. New to the roster for the season include big men Norchad Omier and Chaney Johnson. Cleveland State graduate Tristan Enaruna moves across town to Public Hall and will share time at forward with sharpshooter Miller Kopp and young up-and-comer Jackson Robinson in the backcourt. Also expected to see time for the Charge are Cavalier two-way forwards Naquan Tomlin, Luke Travers, and Chris Livingston. And with that, let's take a sneak peek at the upcoming 2025-2026 schedule. After tipping off the season with 3 games on the road, the Charge play 4 of the next 5 at historic Public Hall as part of the tip-off tournament portion of the schedule. The Charge get their first look at the newly rebranded Noblesville Boom, who take the place of the Indiana Mad Ants with 2 at home in the first week of December. And that precedes the winter showcase for 2 games in Orlando, Florida, where now those 2 games count as part of the regular season record. Coming off the holiday break, we play 3 in a row at home versus the Bluecoats, Herd, and Nets. The Charge then hit the road for the better part of January, beginning with a first-ever visit to Mexico City. Following a Texas 2-step against the Legends, the Charge make a quick stop home before getting right back onto the road for 4 more, 2 at Grand Rapids and 2 at Birmingham. February is a little more forgiving with 6 of the next 8 back at the Hall. Now, after the All-Star break, things get tough again. Charge back on the road for 5 of 9, including matchups with the Boom, the Knicks, and the Magic. But that's when things get good for the good guys as they begin the month of March with the first 7 games on the hardwood floor in front of the best fans in the G, before wrapping up the final week of the regular season with 3 more on the road, ending the schedule at home against the Nets. And with that, we need to take our first time out of the show. But when we come back, we're going to sit down and go one-on-one with the new head coach of the Charge, Eli Abrams. That's coming up next right here on Charge Fast Break on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. And welcome back to Charge Fast Break on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. I'm Scott Zarilla. It's a real pleasure to welcome in the new head coach of the Cleveland Charge, the 8th head coach in Charge history, Eli Abrams. Eli, pleasure to have you on board.
I could not be more excited to be here.
Well, how does that sound? Head coach of the Cleveland Charge and the 8th head coach in franchise history.
It sounds surreal. You know, I think as you're kind of working your way up in this business, I think this is something you dream about and you try and work as hard as you can, and you got to have some luck. And again, just super thankful and very, very happy to be here.
So you're new to the organization, which is a little different than what we've had here before. We've had a lot of promotions from within. So I'm curious the story of how you came to be with Cleveland. Tell me about the conversations you had with the Cavaliers organization and Charge head coach, General Manager LaRon Fannin.
Yeah, so luckily enough, LaRon and I got connected through Matan, an agent for Denny Edvia. Who was out in Portland, who I worked specifically closely with. On top of that, Steve Hetzel, one of the early Charge head coaches, is a big mentor of mine, who I also worked with in Portland. And again, a lot of this business is luck and timing. And I heard the job came open and kind of rallied the troops on it, and I was lucky enough to get one interview and have that lead to the next.
So you're a first-time head coach, but you definitely have experience within basketball. You've been with Portland, Philadelphia, plenty of other teams, Miami, and you've done pretty much all the jobs needed to be done: video coordinator, player development, assistant coach. How excited and how much have all of those helped you prepare you to be a head coach?
I think each role prepares you a little bit differently, and I think we are all kind of shaped around the people that we work with and work for in this business. So it's been really cool, as the best coaches in the business steal little things from everyone. And I think I've been super lucky to be able to steal from some of the best. And I think that's going to hopefully prepare me to do an okay job.
Well, that's a perfect, you said you had broadcast experience,
Yeah.
so that's the perfect lead-in. You mentioned about taking bits and pieces. Without giving necessarily every little nugget from each person, what are some of the things that you've taken from some of those names that, again, all of our viewers, everybody knows those names?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think from Coach Spo early, I think as started from video intern and kind of worked my way up there. You learn the level of preparation that's necessary to be an elite team. And I think there was a big poster on the wall over there just talking about just how you got to be the most prepared, hardest working. And Coach Spo definitely fed that into his video room, and he cared about it like it was his baby. And so from that standpoint, it taught me the level of preparation needed to last in this business. From Coach Doc, I definitely took from him. He had such a presence in front of the team, and no matter what was going on, he was about delivering the right message to the team at the right moment. And the way he was able to execute that, no matter what he had going on, he was never going to falter in front of the team. And I thought that was huge from him.
So we also mentioned Steve Hetzel. When you and I spoke a little bit earlier before the interview. You're still close with him, and you're still he kind of still mentors you. Talk about
Oh man, he got a phone call before every single one of the interviews, and it's really cool I think video guys. There's an unspoken brothership there, and I think it stems from kind of the mold that someone like Coach Spo sets, and then you see other video coordinators in the business, and you see them work their way up, and it's really inspiring.
I was going to say, because, it's interesting, a lot of people don't understand. They think head coaches are just automatically head coaches. But so many big names, and I'll throw another one out, Mike Brown, former Cavaliers head coach, Sacramento, and now with the Knicks. He started off as a video coordinator. Tell us about the importance of why you think a video coordinator is able to maybe take those steps and become good head coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a video coordinator, you have to do two things incredibly well, and you have to do them no matter what's going on. You have to be an elite problem solver, and you got to be able to manage people. For the problem solving, you have your hand in so many different things. You have your hand in scouting. You have to jump on the court and work out a player. Then you have to get back and present personnel to the team. Then you got to make sure this coach has the games he needs in order to watch. While also, making sure that the games are ready for the next coach and the next scout. So you need to be able to multitask, stay organized, and stay on top of stuff. And in terms of the managing people, the best staffs have a lot of different personalities, right? A lot of different walks of life, and you need to be able to touch all of them equally in a way that they'll respond to. And I think that's incredibly important because, on your staff, you have your former video coordinators that want things one way. You have your former players that want things another. You have your head coach that could be a wide-ranging, variety. So I think on top of that, while also managing a team that works with you, your interns, your assistant video coordinators, your player development guys, I think finding a way within the chaos to also manage and make sure they enjoy coming to work every day, like that's what being a head video coordinator teaches you to do.
So we mentioned Eric Spoelstra, Miami Heat. Remember Ron Rothstein, who was a head coach of the Miami Soul of the WNBA? He was an assistant coach with the Cavaliers back in the 90s, and he told me a long time ago, the biggest 18 inches in the NBA is the assistant coach to the head coach. All right, yeah. So you're making that move.
Oh man, could not be more excited. I think the best in this business embrace the challenge, and that's something I learned from Coach Spo. There are going to be jitters, and if they're not jitters, then you're not excited enough about it. There are obviously going to be some jitters, but the real coaches in this business, I've learned, don't run from something challenging. And I'm excited for the challenge, and there are going to be ups, there are going to be downs, and plenty of times that I'm going to wish I would have had something back, but that's what this is all about. It's about learning.
I mentioned at the top, you're a player development coach as well. You're a young guy. You're in great shape. You got a lot of enthusiasm. You still get out on the floor a little bit?
As much as I can.
Is that part of being a head coach to you?
I think absolutely. I think it's a huge way of building equity with the guys, especially when you when you look at, me or the mold of coach that look like me that played Division III, there's some equity that needs to be made up. And I think the best way to make that up is get out there and sweat with them, put bodies on bodies and, really show them that, I'm not out here going crazy, but it's you build sweat equity with the guys, and I think that goes a long way.
So we mentioned your relationship, how you met LaRon Fannin, how that all came about. What's the relationship with her? Season's coming up quick.
Yeah.
The sitting down, talking nuts and bolts, putting the team together. What have those conversations been like?
Oh, I think she's incredible, and I'm so lucky to be able to learn under her, and she does such an incredible job. She's put an incredible team together, and I think when we're kind of talking about constructing the team, we talk about just a cohesive unit that can kind of mirror what the Cavs have going on. You know, I think you want to be as much as possible kind of one band, one sound with the main team. And I think, you know, we're tweaking some things with the main team, and I think, you know, our Charge is going to mirror that.
How do you balance your ideas? Because I know you have a ton. You're a young guy and you're just getting rolling.
Of course.
But also at the same time, you know the relationship between the NBA team and the G League team. What Kenny Atkinson, what Kobe Altman, what Mike Gansey are going to look for. How do you think you're going to be able to put those two together?
Oh, I think seamlessly. I think it's really important, especially like throughout the interview process. Like my big thing with them was, hey, like we need to figure out what the ratio is going to be, whether it's going to be, you know, 85%, 15%. But like my goal here is to be one band, one sound. And I think you know, the powers that be, I think before everything gets rolling, powers that be get in a room and we decide what success looks like for the Charge, for the Cavs, and we try and mirror that the best we can. And of course, you know, the G League is also for testing out really cool ideas. You know, I think it's funny. I always tell people, like, you know, back when I was with the Miami Heat, like everybody remembers Duncan Robinson and the 30 points in the finals. Not a lot of people remember that the ATOs that were running the finals were run for Sioux Falls the year before by Nevada Smith, right? So I think those are some really cool ways that, you know, again, this is about being one band, one sound, but there's also some cool stuff that we can test out for the Cavs.
You talk about success. Well, the Cavaliers have had a lot of success the last couple of years, especially under Kenny Atkinson last year. What have the conversations been with him?
It's been incredible. I think we're connected through another coach in this business named Chris Fleming, was German national team head coach, was the offensive coordinator for Portland, someone who I also look up to very dearly. And they've been great. You know, a lot of just catching up about him, but a lot of, you know, talking about, you know, what the vision is for the Cavs. And you see it every day how competitive he is. And like I think that is something that we're going to make sure we channel through.
What's funny, my last question here for you is, so with the season starting soon, are you more excited or more anxious to get started? I think I know the answer to that. I think excitement is more the answer, correct?
Absolutely. No, this is an incredibly exciting opportunity for me, the staff we're putting together, and for our guys. And it's just every day getting out there and building with these guys has been a ton of fun. So I can't wait for the season.
I can't wait to get started. Eli, pleasure to have you here in Cleveland. Thank you so much for the time. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have fun.
Absolutely.
And that's going to do it. We're going to take a quick timeout on Charge Fastbreak right here on the Rock Entertainment And welcome back to the season premiere of Charge Fastbreak right here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Now, we've just heard from the head coach of the Charge, Eli Abrams, and it's always a pleasure to welcome in the general manager of the Charge, LaRon Fannin. LaRon, always great to talk with you. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm really excited. Media Day is always kind of like gets us going, and it's almost there, so it's a great day.
Third year as the general manager. Have you gotten used to basically everything yet?
Yes, I think you know, obviously, third year is you feel like you're more ready, more prepared. Did a lot of work during the summer to get us to this point, and I'm just excited to get going.
So are you ready to go for the opener tomorrow?
Yes, of course I am. The question is if Eli and the guys are ready.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. But speaking of Eli, as a general manager, you've got so many responsibilities, and not every year is hiring a new head coach. Mm-hmm. Well, you did this year, because congratulations to Chris Darnell on his call up to the NBA. Tell us about the process of meeting and hiring Eli Abrams, because as he and I spoke the other day, the last few coaches have been hires from within. Mm-hmm. What brought Eli in from outside the organization? What drew him to you?
Yeah, first of all, to start with Chris Darnell, who was doing a great job for us, and me and Chris had a lot of conversations, and he was looking forward to his second year, obviously, and then he got this great opportunity with the Kings, so we're very happy for him. So we were in a situation where not only we lost some people that went to other teams, Kenny's staff also a lot of coaches left and went to higher positions, which is great for them. So we usually hire from within, but Kenny could not spare any coaches right now. And so we had to go outside and start looking. And we did a very wide search. I worked with our assistant GMs, Luis and Max, and with Kenny, with Alex, Trevor, and our front office, of course, to kind of see what the needs and what kind of people we want in the building, what kind of an experience. And we did interview, I would say, around 12 coaches.
Wow, yeah.
Everyone came from very different backgrounds. Some were overseas, some were college, some were guys with NBA experience. Eli, something about, and you know that about his personality, just
Infectious.
yes, and obviously his experience and his enthusiasm and his willingness to learn more, think outside the box. I think we thought it would fit Kenny and what he likes very much. Also, he has experience with video room, with X's and O's, with development, and this is the key word we use here with the Charge, development. And we develop here not only players, we also try to develop our coaching staff, and I think we did a pretty good job in the last few years. So it's, although he never been a head coach anywhere, but he still has a lot of experience in development, and I think we'll help him get better in the things he needs to. But he's been doing a phenomenal job till now.
I think it's great that you said all of the things that he brings to the table, because in fairness, fans, they turn on a game or they come to the game and they see them on the sideline and they think that they just coach. Right. There's a lot that they don't understand of the development and video and all the sorts of things. So which one of those really kind of, or was it his enthusiasm? What first grabbed you about, put him at the top of the list?
Yeah, first of all, most of the coaches we interviewed, I knew before. Obviously, I scout around the league and do a lot of things, so I meet a lot of people. We met briefly before, and I know people in Portland, in the front office, in the coaching staff. I know some of the players, so did our homework. Asked a lot about him. I think a lot of his traits I saw and felt that will fit us, will fit what we're doing here, will fit our culture. And I wasn't wrong about that. So far, it's been great. And he also, he involves himself with the staff. His organic relationship with the players, I see that going really well. Not forcing anything, but very natural. And all that stuff is really, really important.
So we've talked about all the things that the coach has to do, all the things that the general manager has to do as well. Got 2 years under your belt. This being your third year. Roster construction, you mentioned the players a moment ago. Has that gotten any easier? Because again, like everyone knows, the G League roster construction is so different than the NBA. Have you kind of settled in on the nuances of that?
Yeah, I think I think we did a really good job this year in constructing the roster and bringing guys that can feed each other and be good for each other on the court and off the court as well. I think what I learned to do is also delegate more to my assistant GMs, to my staff, count more on their opinions as well, and kind of brainstorm together and fill this out. I think we saw some of these guys in Summer League, and our Cavs front office gave us a lot of freedom in building the Summer League roster, along with the Cavs guys that joined the Summer League roster. So I think that was really helpful. So at the very early stage of the summer, which was mid-August, we were almost done with the roster.
Oh, wow.
We knew exactly the players we like from previous years. Myself and Luis and Brandon Halupnik, we did a lot of work during the season scouting guys in the G League, so we knew who we liked and who we aimed for. Guys like Tristan, like Killian, guys that came here. So I think it was easier for us this year to really construct a roster that we like and would fit the style of play of the Cavs. So these are kind of guys that can help us, make that transition to not only developing but also winning.
Well, Ron, it is always great to catch up with you. Can't wait till tomorrow, first game in Iowa. It's going to be another fun season. Thank you, as always, for the time and catching us up.
Thank you.
That's Charge General Manager LaRon Fannin joining us here on Charge Fastbreak. We're going to wrap things up after we take this time out on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.
Going strong this time, no doubt about that one. And too strong. Top one, put it up, put it in, and draws the foul.
Voices rise, let them reach the sky. We gotta change the game. We gotta change the game.
Well, the season tips off finally tomorrow and Saturday, both games in Iowa. Both games will tip off 7:30 Eastern, and the great news is you can hear every one of the Charge 50 games this season on the new radio home of the Charge, Rio 106.1 FM. And as a reminder, 18 games this year from Public Hall you can watch right here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Charge Fast Break. Until next time, I'm Scott Zarilla. Thanks so much for watching right here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network.